My name is Daniel Dockin. Welcome to Module 0, Unit 9. Risk assessments are not optional. They are a legal requirement under UK health and safety law, including the Health and Safety at Work Act 1974. In invasive plant management, the Invasive Non-Native Plant Code of Practice sets out a clear framework for an invasive plant infestation. We also recognise the RICS Professional Standard on Japanese knotweed and residential properties, which provides a property-focused framework. As specialists, we don't apply this formally, but we may be asked to comment on categories and advise on management. At the heart of every invasive plant risk assessment is the question, what is the likelihood for spread? And more importantly, how can we shut down those pathways to reduce the risk? The Invasive Non-Native Plant Code of Practice by the PCA provides a framework which gives a consistent way of assessing invasive plant risks. It asks staged questions. Is there structural or infrastructure damage? Could it enter a watercourse or pose a health risk? Could it spread onto adjacent land? If yes, it is categorized as a high risk. If not, the next questions are about spread. Could it spread due to other factors, such as human activity, mowing or soil disturbance? If yes, then it's a medium risk. If not, then we ask some final questions. Does the infestation limit the intended use of the site or present a disturbance risk? If not, it falls into the low risk category. These categories guide management priorities, and the code makes clear that risk assessments must be recorded, reviewed, and updated. They are working documents, not just paperwork. The RICS Professional Standard on Japanese knotweed and residential properties is widely used in the property sector by chartered residential surveyors. It uses categories to describe the level of impact knotweed has on a property, from high risk, where it affects structures, to low risk, where it's nearby but perhaps in a neighbouring property. As invasive plant specialists, it's vital to be clear, we do not formally apply the RICS framework. That is the role of a residential surveyor. Our role is to comment on the likely risk category and provide practical guidance on management steps. This helps the homeowners, buyers and lenders understand the risks and supports decisions about mortgages, resale and the need for professional plans. In this way, our work complements the RICS framework without overlapping it or causing any issues. Risk assessments are only useful if they record the control measures that will be used to manage the risks identified. In practice, this means documenting the biosecurity actions you will take, the site practices that will be followed, and the management option chosen. This written record demonstrates compliance with the Code of Practice and with legislation. It also provides accountability if your work is ever reviewed. A risk assessment without record controls is incomplete. It's a recording of how risks will be managed that makes it a practical and defensible tool. To recap Unit 9, health and safety risk assessments are a legal requirement, but in the invasive plant sector, they follow the framework set out by the Invasive Non-Native Plant Code of Practice. We also considered the RICS Professional Standard. While invasive plant specialists do not apply this formally, we may be asked to comment on categories and advise on management. An invasive plant risk assessment should complement the RICS Professional Standard. Every risk assessment must not only identify risks, but also record the controls that will be put in place, from biosecurity measures to site practices and management options. This is what makes risk assessment the bridge between biosecurity in Unit 7 and legislation in Unit 8. They bring those principles together and put them into one action on site.